Hey there, folks. I've been at Indie Webcamp San Diego today. I'm running a little late. Let's go to CSS Battle.dev and do the daily target. Oh, goodness me. What have we got here? I see circles, I see borders, I see negative spaces, I see maybe it's an ant. I don't know. It's kind of an interesting shape. I feel like the right approach. Well, I don't know if there's any right approach, but the thing that occurs to me is how each one of these are simple shapes that can be accomplished with radial gradients. Radial gradient, 1Q, dark color, 40 pixels, transparent. So that's one dark circle. Oh, and look at that. It's actually very close to correct. Is that 45 then? 45. So that's one of the circles. Now it's a lower circle because we see that it gets covered by this other one. I think that's the same size, but that has another ring around it. So that's going to have what? Positive background position X. So let's call that 60 pixels. Oh, actually we can, if we're using the same identical thing, we need another color stop though. 7, 8, 9. And then we add another color stop for the orange color. And that, so we do 0 and 60 pixels probably. Maybe 50, 60, 70, 75. Those are two of the pieces. And then lastly, actually no, we have two more gradients to do because we're not done. Let's do radial gradient. So we'll copy and paste that same radial gradient. And we'll put its center at minus 90. We're just going to guess that it's got a symmetrical center and then increase this radius to 70, 75. So, no, not 77, 75. And then the last gradient is a conic gradient. Conic gradient. And there are other ways to accomplish these, obviously, but conic gradient is the first one I think of. You can do it your own way. It's another way to go. Let's go yellow, 75%. And then the dark color brown, 0. And then we need to give it something like at 50%. And let's call it, no, it's actually narrow. I'm wrong. 30 pixels, 50%. That might be too tall. Actually, yeah, we need something more like 30 pixels. 30% rather. And then with background position, we move it over. And we move it a little further over. 4, 5. And then we move it down. 60, 140, 50, 60. Maybe that's right. Almost. Too far over, so we want 145. No, not far enough, so 155. And then down a little bit more, 165. And that's probably a winner. We submit. And we got a winner. All right, so let's minify that. Minify, unit replace, submit. And that is certainly a way to do that. The other solution I find wanting, the other kind of solution I want to use is using 3 paragraph elements. And actually, let's undo. We're going to keep the conic gradient. I like the conic gradient. So let's do the blank template and put that guy on the body. And then we need to make 3 elements. 1, 2, 3. And we got to B element and a C. They're all a little different. They're all different enough that they can share some characteristics. But I'm not sure exactly what we're going to need to do, but let's sort it out. Let's make his color, that background, be this. Or even better, we're going to set the color to that, and then we're going to do box shadow. No, that's not what we want. Is that what we want? No, that's not what we want. I'm wrong. What I want to do is a border. So I'm going to keep that background. Margins, I have very specific needs for margin. Okay, and then let's do we're gonna do a background of red, just so I can really concentrate on what I'm trying to do here. So I need a height of, I don't remember what those numbers were. Is it 100? 100. All right. Let's push that down. 5, 6, 7, 75. And then less far over, 2, 25, 27 maybe. Our next number is 0 and 200. No, 75 again. 75. No. Which numbers do I need? 27. Excuse me, 27. And this number needs to be more. 200. Yeah, there we go. Make it taller. 3, 4, 5. Now we're going to introduce the border radius. And that matches perfectly. Let's change that red to the brown. Okay, so what are we doing wrong? Oh, I think what I need to do is each one is going to have a border. So border is 30 pixels solid red to start with. So what do we need? So 30 I think is correct. So then I need to remove 60's worth to make that line up. So there, that's that first circle. We can't currently see the other ones, and I also know that we'll make this border color a variable. Var dash dash C or the brown. Okay. And then I think the second two circles can be the same thing. So I'm just going to go and kind of call them B. I'm going to, and then using negative margins on the first paragraph element. 2, 3, 4, 20. Where are we at? Let's move up a little bit more to 25. That's it. Okay. So because of the way I've done these margins, I need to translate these other. So I'm going to set a color of, or I'm going to set a dash dash C of this orange color. And then B, I'm going to say translate 100 pixels. And then B plus B. Oh, and then I've unearthed the bad logic of what I did, because I actually don't want a border on the second one. I need it on the third one. I'm going to do a translate 200. So there's my circles. I'm slightly wrong. So what is that? 60, 70, 80, 90. And then that makes this 180 maybe? All right, so now I got that problem. So that means I'm going to make this transparent. Oh, and that doesn't work. That doesn't work. Oh, look at that. What if I do the keyword transparent? Nope, can't do it. That's fun. I forgot that's the case. So you can't have a visible, that occludes other things, or that is completely transparent by doing that. Now I can do so. That makes this not a great solution. So I'm going to set the color here, --C. On this last one is that. So what else can I do to make this be a mask? And I think that what I want to do is mask is a radial gradient. And this is not great. Red, 50 pixels, transparent. And then I didn't do a mask unset. So the way I've done this, not very efficient, because I didn't think it fully through. Mask it unset. So there it is. And that's kind of working. Okay, so that the radius is what, 45? 45. So I'm hidden on this second element, its border, using a mask, which is all of itself a sort of complicated way to do that. I'll quit while I'm ahead. I don't know that I'm ahead, but this is another solution, but it's not very efficient. I'm not super crazy about it. But I did not think of the fact that choosing to use a border would complicate what I'm doing in the way that I did. So now that we've done that, let's not use a border. We're going to add back that 160, 150. Is that right? And now I've got my circles. And let's get rid of the mask. And everything now gets a radial gradient. So instead of this background, we get this. Plonk, and then destroy that. Now they're all the same. And the variable then is the second color, var C, or the default is the brown, and then the inner is brown, because they all have an inner of brown. We have the translates in place, great. We don't need the mask unset, great. We could even do something cute like translate var calc. Yeah, it's already inefficient. It's fine. Var --F for factor. Can be named anything. 90 pixels. And then we're going to default that number to, what we defaulted to? We defaulted to 0. So then we will do --F 1 and --F 2 semicolon. All right, and then the other variable for the second element, what was it? C is transparent. And that gets it done as well. So, a little trickier, a little goofier. Because these don't share anything, it's probably more efficient to call that C, and then make this an attribute selector of C. And then let's minify, replace, and that's the final of what I want to do there. Kind of fun. Some interesting techniques in there, but nothing is as good as the first approach that I took was all gradients. Are there other efficient ways to do this? Yes. So a lot of the solutions that I do, most of the solutions I do not take advantage of nesting. And this is one that I think is very amenable to a nesting situation or a box shadow situation or those kinds of things. But that's not how I think, so that's not how I did it. But that's an exercise for you. Anyway, take care out there. Be good to yourself, be good to each other, and go make a webpage. Bye.